right. Hi, everybody. Join us for another None Mike here on the Whiskey Crusaders. We've got Cody here joining us from Casey Jones Distillery, another awesome up-and-coming distillery here in Kentucky. Real Kentucky stuff, not source bullshit, which is really nice. We really appreciate that. So he came to the house. We've had an awesome dinner, which is fantastic. Really appreciate that as well. No Donner passed in here so far, and of course I pushed the button, and people come in as it usually streams in here. So I guess Cody came about a month, 6 weeks ago?
Something
like that.
I think it was literally about a month ago, actually.
Yeah. He came by. He's like, "Hey, can I come by and try some whiskeys?" Sure, absolutely. Yeah, no idea what it is, but I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give it a whirl." Like,
well, if you remember what happened is I actually met with I was obviously doing writing with the distributor and ended up meeting an account, and I can't remember the guy's name. I felt terrible, but he knew about Whiskey Crusaders. He's like, "You've got to go meet Matt."
Wow, awesome, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, fan. It's always great. It's about Scott Moody, another of our longtime fans here, as usual. It's a good time. So this is, I guess, coming into the local market here, which is good for all of you guys. Tried this on at least 25 people since he's been here. All have been really successful, so I've been really happy about it. So I'm going to let Cody turn it over to him and let him tell you guys some history and taste through some really great whiskeys.
Yeah, fantastic. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here and get a chance to interface with everybody and answer some questions and talk a little bit about our fine spirits here. But short of it, pretty straightforward. Casey Jones Distillery. Been at this legally for about 8 years. I always have to preface that.
Yeah.
The distillery's namesake is actually my business partner, the master distiller's grandfather. Casey was a still maker during Prohibition in the area about 45 minutes west of the distillery called Land Between the Lakes. And he made these really unique square pot stills. Guy was illiterate, couldn't read, couldn't write, but he was just a savant engineer.
That's awesome.
And he originally started making he was making coffins, actually, which informed the box design.
Okay, coffins. All right. Well, that's so you always go from into coffins to distilling. It's totally how it always works. And if you want to see a picture of the pots, of the square pots, it is on the thumbnail. Of course, go over to their website, which is also in the description. You guys go check that out.
Yeah. There was the engineering behind it is pretty clever. Obviously, if you've cooked in a round pan versus a square pan, get a little more even heat distribution in that square pan. So there's a part of it there. Okay. They were actually also designed to fit in the back of a Model A pickup truck for
very important
obvious reasons. And then if you look at the thumbnail real closely, you'll actually see there's actually a handle on the line arm. There's a handle on the square pot still itself, and there's a handle on the condenser. And those are by design as well. If Matt, if you and I wanted to go out and make some shine,
absolutely,
you grab one end of that still, I'd grab the other. I'd sling the line arm on my back, condenser on yours. We could walk out to the field, out into the woods, and we can make some shine.
Otherwise, I know nothing. I just have a piece of copper hitting out here, Say hi to Andy there from Oklahoma. Good to see you. Scott's as excited as coming to Texas, so that's awesome. And Donner has also, is it direct fire or is it steam?
So the one in the thumbnail, if I'm not mistaken, that was actually AJ's handmade 140-gallon square pot still. Okay. And it was direct fire. We actually used safety first. It was actually propane fired, so you had to be real careful with all of the finished goods out of it. But we are in the middle of a massive self-funded kind of panic a little bit every time I say this, but $2 million expansion.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And we've put in 2 brand new stills. One of them is a 1,000-gallon pot still with a hybrid column and then condenser off of it. And then to the right of it sits a world's one and only steam-fired 200-gallon square pot still. So the new one now is actually steam-fired, much safer.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely safer. But, it's always the nostalgia of the first time with a direct fire, and always the great story of we didn't die.
We made it.
So, it's a plus. We should pour some moonshine, and then we'll get some more history because we're thirsty.
Into it. Well, so last time I was here, I dropped this little gem off.
Yes.
This is our moonshine. This is a 100-year-old moonshine recipe pioneered by Casey himself during Prohibition. It uses half corn and half cane sugar. The corn actually comes from, I kid you not, a 7th generation Kentucky family farm.
Wow.
40 minutes away from the distillery.
Even better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And normally I would pour this, but I told you I had
something new. Yes.
This is actually the old 2000 pre-2023 label.
Okay.
This was obviously bottled and named for the 2017 Great American Eclipse.
Okay.
That literally went right over the distillery.
Oh, that's
the
awesome.
The epicenter was
very cool.
3 miles away from where the distillery is.
That's cool.
Next year, 24 in April, there's another eclipse coming through.
Oh, awesome.
So we're retiring this label.
Okay.
We actually have launched a brand new Total Eclipse bottle.
Ooh,
and you're one of the very first Texans to see this, actually.
Oh, I like that. That's awesome. Check that out, guys. How cool is that label? I love, you guys know how I love really fancy labels.
Yeah.
Oh,
so on the side of it, it talks about the 2 eclipses and the paths of totality.
Focus. There it goes. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so tell them what's the so it's doing a cross essentially. That's
yeah. I mean, it unfortunately this time it'll be a little far west of where we're at.
Okay,
but it rolls right through Texas. It's going to be right over the DFW area. You're pretty
very cool. That's awesome.
So we're pretty excited about obviously sharing this with folks. Want to see your cup?
Absolutely.
So we've had this together before. Last time I was here.
I was very impressed with the first thing you poured me. So
I love sharing this with folks because, as it turns out, moonshine actually can be good.
Yes, we've all had stuff that should not be drank, and there's things that are actually good. Of course, when someone tells you it's moonshine, it's like, okay, whatever, and it's like, oh, this actually smells and tastes really good.
So again, the distillate is half corn and half cane sugar, and I think that really. It almost manifests like a Blanco tequila. It's wild.
Yeah, it's super sweet, but it's just got that beautiful white dog at the same time, which I really like that smell of the corn and cane white dog. It just smells wonderful.
If you find some of this in the store here in Texas, and you're
good.
So inclined, grab yourself some really good margarita mix. And mix this up with some margarita mix. It will floor you.
Interesting.
It's called a moonarita.
That's awesome. It is 50%, so do be careful with it.
Oh yeah.
That's the one thing. Whereas tequila is usually going to be only at 40. This is 50, so do remember that.
I'm not responsible for what happens after the consumption of many moonaritas.
That is on you. Hey Spencer, good to see you. Speaking of a guy who likes cocktails, Spencer would enjoy the cocktails we had this evening. All the fun cocktails you can make with these things. Yeah, we'll talk about some of those. Well, he had some really cool stories this evening about some cocktails that have been made with this stuff. So we'll get into that. Yeah, that's really, really nice.
So let's move down the line from the Total Eclipse to our first aged spirit, which is this guy right here. So we're one of only a few distilleries taking their moonshine, barrel aging it. So this is our single barrel cut. This is exactly what we just had, but now put into a heavy number 4 char, lightly toasted barrel from Kelvin Cooperage. This is 3 years aged.
Nice.
What's fun about Kelvin, in case you guys don't know, Kelvin is, I will die on this hill. They are the best cooperage on the planet. Their whole deal is their barrels are actually wood fired. So propane never touches these barrels. And if you've ever grilled outside, you know what matters. Yeah,
it does. I'm trying to kill a bug here. They apparently really like the moonshine as well.
Anyways.
Annoying little things. It's like you leave the door open for a second, the stupid things flying, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, fruit flies.
Yeah, they're my favorite. They just like to show up randomly when the whiskey opens up. Like, great.
They want to partake too, man.
Yes, there you go. Well, the worst is you're sitting outside with it, and then it's like, great, there's like 3 or 4 of them in my glass. Well, I guess they all died immediately, but that's okay. I just scoop them out.
It's a happy way to go.
I still drink the whiskey. It's whiskey. They'll be fine. See. Okay, so cane plus sugar based on the need for added sugar to help with yeast having enough to eat and produce alcohol. Yep, It's pretty good stuff, and I think you would really enjoy this stuff, Spencer.
Yeah.
Now, are you guys available in Nebraska? That's where he's at.
I'm not in Nebraska yet, although I do think that through spirithub.com, you're able to order many of the products that we have and actually shipped directly to you.
Perfect.
I think Nebraska is one of the states that Spirit Hub services.
They don't have stupid laws like Texas.
It is a great talking point about the actual mash bill there. That it's really interesting. We actually don't mill the corn very much to make the moonshine.
Okay.
It's almost like this chicken feed scratch sort of mill that we use. It's not very fine or powdery like you would for a bourbon.
Oh, perfect. They do ship that.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. We'll use that corn, obviously, in that that less milled, less ground version of it with sugar and the yeast. I mean, they're all about that. So, and yeah, we use primarily 53-gallon barrels, but do some 25s on occasion. But it's mostly 53-gallon barrels. Yeah, it's a great question.
It's very important. It's like, don't use 5s, please.
Oh God, no! It's too much, too fast.
Yeah, it ends usually not great.
Yeah. So this is like we said, the single barrel cut. This guy is that Total Eclipse Moonshine we just had, but now barrel aged for up to 3 years. What's great about this particular spirit is that it maintains all that viscosity, that velvety like creaminess that we had from the moonshine. It's still present.
Yeah.
But then that sweet mash is now obviously taking some of those tannins out of that barrel. Ah, man, it just turns us into this like Werther's original.
It's got the beautiful oakiness and butterscotch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. It's proof on the proof on this one goes up to 51, so a little bit higher, but very nice.
So what's really interesting about this spirit, if you think about it, I know we were talking about this earlier, that corn distillate is corn whiskey, sugar distillate is rum.
Right.
This is corn whiskey and rum at the same time. That's exactly what this is. Now, on the single barrel, I think that you'll see, or you might agree, that it's mostly the corn whiskey that's prevalent in the single barrel.
I agree, yeah.
But then when we go to the double barrel, it's the opposite. It flips. It's like the rum's really prevalent, which is it's wild. Interesting. Yeah.
Wood does amazing things, to say the least. Say hi to Jason there. Good to see you. It's really, really good.
Yeah. She's a good sipper, yeah.
Definitely. And that's like we were talking earlier too, is there's very few people that actually age moonshine, let alone you can buy it on the shelf. It's you guys and maybe a couple others.
Yeah, we were trying to think of some examples. Yeah, we couldn't come up with anyone. I know it's out there, but
not really. Or like, a lot of it's obviously added color or fun things like that. Yeah. But this is real barrel aging, which is nice.
Yeah.
And, it's real Kentucky stuff, not stuff sourced from somebody else or some other random crap, as we all know.
Yeah, we're proud of the distilled in Kentucky statement on the side of the labels. So
I like it too. Yeah. It's entertaining for me, especially for something we'll talk about later. It's very entertaining.
All right, so I guess we got to move on to one of my favorites in the lineup, which is the double barrel cut. Yeah. So single barrel cut, and it's cool because you get to see sort of the story, right? We started with the Total Eclipse Moonshine, which was unaged corn and cane. Then we went to single barrel cut, which was 3 years in a new barrel. So double barrel cut is the very best single barrel barrels. We'll actually dump those into a freshly dumped bourbon barrel for another year of finishing to make double barrel cut. And what's really cool is, like I was saying, this is kind of that hybrid between a corn whiskey and a barrel aged rum. In the double barrel cut, I think the rum notes really, really pop.
And I can think of 0 other moonshines that are double barrel. Yeah. He thinks they're pretty sure they're the only one. You're right. There's more rum on it. That's interesting. That's pretty wild.
Well, and you got to think about like the mash, right? It was corn and cane in both stages before.
Right.
But then when you put it in that used bourbon barrel, that's interfacing with the malted barley and the rye in the bourbon that was before. This is going to change the flavor dynamics entirely. And Man, if you
That's
didn't,
wild.
if you were blinding those side by side, you'd have no idea.
Yeah,
what they
no
were
idea.
saying originally.
Okay, so Craig says, pick me out of Missouri uses 15-gallon barrels to age their corn whiskey. They bottle it 2 years. It's really okay. Very cool. Not had that one.
Let's try that one out.
Hey, Independent Joe, good to see you guys. Haven't checked out Independent Joe show. We'll check out his as well.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, this one's at 105.3, so a little bit more amped up, but
That was a good batch.
yeah, it's quite good.
And of course, everything we do is. Somebody said we're all but single barrel.
Yeah, it's like when they say small batch, I mean like 2.
Yeah.
So, you know,
We did 4 one time. That's a big old batch.
That was a big batch. Was 4 barrels.
Batten down the hatches. We're gonna do 4 barrels, guys.
Yep, that was a lot of bottling that day.
Yeah, this is the one we were talking about earlier that in Manhattan
Oh
that mixologist was playing.
yeah, tell me about that one. Yeah.
So there's this really cool speakeasy bar in Manhattan called Patent Pending. It is typically a coffee shop during the day, but at night it switches over. There's literally a bookcase. They slide out of the way, and behind it is this Art Deco speakeasy, and it is just absolutely elevated. All of these incredible cocktails, etc. But I've been trying to work on getting product into the bar over the last honestly been like 8 months.
Okay.
So this is the 3rd time I visited, and I finally got a chance to have one of the cocktail artists try the double barrel cut. Well, the guy takes and he mixes this with, I think, Luxardo, Angostura bitters, pistachio bitters.
It's just super interesting.
And then some of the liqueur, I didn't even see what it is. He mixes it all up and he pours cocktails for us. And man, it tasted like a chocolate cherry cordial, but not like it wasn't syrupy. Man. It wasn't thick. It was really light at the same time. My God, it was incredible.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's like one of your buddies here, Bradford, saying hello.
Bradford, I'm see this guy tomorrow, man.
Perfect.
Go down to Austin and make it work.
Yeah, so there we go. Hi to Eric here and Swami. Good to see you guys. No one's excited. It's the way it goes. It is Swami, so it happens. Yeah, I don't like that. It's quite good. We should tell them about Al Capone and the things we're talking about in the car.
Yeah. So Al Capone came up. Matt, you were telling a story about this prison, right? Yeah.
We're talking about Eastern State Pen. If you guys have been out to Pennsylvania, that's one of the wonders of the world built in the 1800s, where all of the prisons were solitary confinement. That way, it was very nice for you. And the guards take their shoes off. You wouldn't have to hear any noise, so completely actual silence to do that. So fun times. We were talking about Al Capone was there for all that. His cell was nothing like everyone else had. They had to build their own bed, build their own, nightstand. And they had a little hole they would go at the end. And they could see 1 hour of light per day at the end of their cell. Well, not Al Capone's. His was very nice. Had a radio, a record player, nice bed, a big fancy chair. So then he's like, well, there's actually a component to Al Capone. So let him talk about Al Capone.
Yeah, so the rumor is that Capone absolutely preferred moonshine off of the Casey Jones still. So this is the rumor. Obviously, Casey made 300 of these things in the area back during Prohibition.
Wow.
And he was notorious for it. And I mean, come on. No one else was making a square still.
No.
So it's like they kind of knew who the guy was.
That is your signature patent. Oh, I know whose that is. I know nothing.
He actually got sent on vacation at Mill Point for it twice.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah.
Which is, as you all know, it's a prison.
Yeah.
Fun times, I'm sure. Really enjoyable experience, I'm sure you had there.
So I think the Mill Point was interesting because it didn't it wasn't enclosed. You were free to, it didn't have any walls or anything like that. But if you were caught trying to escape, you automatically got, 5 more years to your sentence. So lovely. It was pretty cool. Yeah. So I think the second time he got out, if I remember the story correctly. So he gets in the first time for still making, right?
Okay.
The second time, after he gets out, he starts actually making these miniature like novelty stills.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But the problem is they worked.
Oh, jeez.
So the second time he got busted was actually for these mini stills. So he gets shipped off to Mill Point the second time for making these just basically hobby items.
That's hysterical.
It's ridiculous,
Oh,
right? And so the icing on the cake, I don't think I've told you this last time I was here, Matt, but the icing on the cake is after he gets out the second time, you know, the Land Between the Rivers area that he was in, right?
Mm-hmm.
The United States Forestry Department owned that land. And this is post-prohibition at this time.
Okay.
So they decided to put in this visitor center, like a tourism center.
Oh, sure.
At the head of the rivers. And in the tourism center, they wanted Casey to build a still.
That's awesome.
So you can just imagine the amount of convincing that took for the government after the fact. Like, hey, would you make one of these for us?
Yeah, we put you in jail already for 4 years. Would you make one for us? Oh, jeez. Yeah.
So he did actually end up making one for them, and then they sold the land to the Tennessee Valley Authority.
Oh, okay.
Right, so that the rivers could be dammed up and they could turn into hydro plants. And so that's actually how we got back into distillation, is that still, the only legally made still that Casey made was in that visitor center.
Nice.
When the ownership transferred over to the TVA, they closed down the visitor center and remodeled.
Sure.
So Casey still disappears.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody knows what happens to it.
Sure.
Well, I guess it was 9 years ago now. Peg and AJ, the founders, they get a call from the forestry department. They're like, hey, I think I've got your grandfather's still. Do you want this?
Yeah.
So, I mean, immediately they go and they grab it.
Yeah.
And we actually have it mounted above our bar at the distillery right now.
Awesome.
AJ used that still to make his own, which is the one that's in the thumbnail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
that's
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good way. You should talk about the Henry Ford connection.
Oh, yeah.
We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So let's pour up the next.
Yeah. Let's get the next thing. We'll do that.
And we'll do that for sure. All right. So from Double Barrel, we're going to go into Kentucky's native.
All right.
Is, of course, Bourbon.
That's right.
You drop the N and it sounds super fancy. Let me pour you up, man.
Thank you.
So this is our first bourbon mash bill. It's really unique. Ultra high corn bourbon mash bill. This is 96% corn,
It's a lot
3% rye, and 1% malted barley.
Yeah, you don't see that mash bill very often. That's for sure. If ever.
So we wanted to try to create a good, sweet bourbon for those people who were bourbon curious. Or if you wanted a bourbon in the dead of summer that you could enjoy that didn't have all the rye spice and heat.
Okay.
So that's what we ended up coming up with this particular mash bill.
Well, Mr. Jake, it's good to see you. So how did you guys come up with a 96% corn?
You would have to ask Mr. Jones.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in the gray matter between his ears is what he came up with.
It's like, that is not like 96. Seems like good. Now, this is yellow corn, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's the same corn from that WF Ware that we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. You know, when we first launched this bourbon, I was telling you this last time we talked. I mean, we're tiny. I mean, I have 16 employees as of last Wednesday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's just the three of us owners. We don't have any outside capital.
Okay.
So it's not a bunch of, like dad's money in the bank that we could just do whatever we want to with.
Yeah. It's you guys' money. Yeah.
So when we launched this bourbon, those barrels were all 1 year old.
Oh, okay.
Now sitting here today, they're all this particular mash bill. They're all 2.5. I have some 3.5. I actually have some that are 4, but you didn't hear that.
Yes, we don't know anything about that. That doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. So it's been incredible tasting that product mature.
Oh yeah,
over
every
time.
year,
And
sure.
like,
how it's changing.
These notes are getting more prevalent. Those are going away, etc.
Yeah, that's got to be fun,
Yeah.
especially going from the beginning of this to how does this change? And of course, now it's as it ages up. It's just what's going to happen. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Which is the fun of it. Independent Joe, you're in California. Is that correct, Independent Joe? I can't remember. I think that's where you're at. Just a little malt for the hallelujah. Exactly. Everybody have a little bit of malt. 1%'s good. Gotta have a little barley in there. It's
So
good times.
you guys probably know that in the cooking process, malt is actually, there's chemicals in malt that actually help the sugar strings lengthen, and in your cooking process is really vital. So in this particular mash bill, we have to use amylase to replace that feature that you would get.
Right, because there's not enough
malt.
barley.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So do you guys have distribution in California or just use the website?
No, actually, we do have.
You're in California. Okay, cool.
Plenty of distribution in Cali.
Awesome.
I think if you hit up our website, you could go to spirits and retailers, and you'll see a map of California.
Perfect.
We're in a lot of Total Wines there, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Independent Joe, if you got Total Wine by you there in California, go check them out. They will have his products.
Fantastic.
Just perfect. Oh, such a nice bourbon too. So uniquely different, but really good, and just it's really easy to drink. I think this is good for intro for bourbon too. It's like
perfect for it
because some of them are too, because you get too much rye spice on. You don't have that rye spice, which is nice. Or people that like, I don't like whiskey. Well, you're probably gonna like this if you like things that are sweet. It's really quite nice. I really enjoy, because this is what
90 proof.
90 proof. Yeah. Oh no, almost 2.9 years old. Okay.
What's interesting is these started obviously really corn forward, which you would expect. And then now, as they're getting older, the nose is gone from like a green vegetal, like peach pear, to getting really floral, which
interesting.
I smarter people than I could probably figure out and explain why that would happen, but it's been really interesting seeing those barrels mature.
Yeah, that's really nice. But yeah, it's like you have a little bit of like a white peach, then a little bit of lavender, honeysuckle, even Easter lilies. It's a very interesting nose. Yeah. It's quite tasty.
Who would have thought from corn? I mean, come on.
Because, it's normal.
I'll say this one pairs really well with ginger ale if nobody's looking. It does not at all pair with yard work from experience.
So don't do it with yard work. After yard work is the solution to that one. All right, there you go. Is it in Connecticut available? In New England?
Through Spirit Hub, yes.
Through Spirit Hub. So you can check out that website and grab it from those guys.
Yeah.
All right, we can do that.
All right.
I can give Independent Joe. All right, Joe, there you go. You got a wrench. They can drop their links. They're in the thing, but yeah, it's always easier when it's in the chat. So and that's what we have awesome moderators for.
Appreciate you, Joe. Thank you, man.
So good times. But yeah, that's good. Thoroughly enjoy that. Yeah. Like I said, and one thing I like about them is it's different. You guys know how much I like different and just unique things, and I am super excited for you guys to hear about this because of how different this is.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. This proud is such a. I'm pretty proud of this. Like I'm really like this is incredible. I love how this turned out. I really do. And I love sharing this with folks. So this obviously red label intimates at least in our circles a wheated bourbon, and that's exactly what we have here is a wheated bourbon. What's a little different about this cat is it's actually a 4-grain wheat.
Mm-hmm.
So this uses this interesting mix. It's 26.5% bloody butcher corn. And I don't know if you all have ever been to a craft store, maybe by yourself or with a loved one in the fall. All of those red ears of corn, that is bloody butcher corn. It's this like really cool heirloom, low yield, low food grade corn. It's hard to grow, but it creates a really unique flavor palette. But it's 26.5% bloody butcher, 26.5% yellow dent, 35 wheat, 12% malted barley. So wheat is obviously a really interesting grain on the palate. It adds this softness, this richness, like this character, this like bready, oaty expression to the palate. But I think that for this particular mash bill, the malted barley really plays with that flavor nicely. I guess was probably a good way to say it.
Yeah.
So these guys, we launched this particular mash bill. This is our third bourbon mash bill.
Okay.
I know I skipped 2. We'll come back to it. These were all 3 years old when we launched them, and they're now all the barrels just had a birthday middle of last month. Happy birthday, barrels!
That's
4
right.
Years old.
Exactly. It's awesome.
To the barrels.
To the barrels.
They started out. The nose hasn't changed much on them. They're still very honey forward on the nose, very sweet, very pleasant nose. They used to be honey and black tea on the palate. Now they're honey and like Louisiana sweet tea.
Yeah, they have a little bit of jasmine in there too. And rosemary. That's pretty. Yeah, I like. What excited me is that they use Bloody Butcher, which you guys know, but big fans like Iron Root and that we are low. But this is the most Bloody Butcher I think I've seen used in a mash bill too. I think they only use 5. This is 26.5, and it's awesome stuff.
So you all should check out Jeff the Creed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great Kentucky distillery, and they really championed, at least from our perspective, Bloody Butcher corn.
Yeah, for sure.
They're a farm to bottle distillery. They grow their own grain. Fantastic folks.
Just cool.
Nothing but praise for them, for sure. So,
yeah, we don't think we get Jeff Decree here, unfortunately. Yeah. Someday, I'm sure we will, but we do have a sample of it. I thought it was quite nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I love unique mash bills, though, so it's fun. The leg for only being less than 4 years old, the legs in this are ridiculous. As oily as this is, this is still 90 proof. Yeah, this is still 90 proof. So, oh yeah, excuse me. I know Eric wanted to know what the char level on the barrels you guys are using as well.
Great question. We exclusively use a number 4 heavy alligator char. All of our barrels.
Very nice.
I do have some stuff in a 3 char, and I do have some stuff in medium toast.
Okay.
But it's not out yet.
Okay.
And the vast majority of stuff is light to medium toast and heavy char.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
If you ever have a chance to pick some of this up, make a gold rush with it.
Okay, and what goes into that?
So it's like it's simple syrup, fresh lemon, and honey is typically a gold rush, right?
Okay.
But if you can get yourself some hot honey, like Mike's hot honey instead,
it's amazing.
I'm gonna apologize ahead of time.
Okay.
It's so good, so good, yeah. Because it brings out that cocktail, really brings out the honey notes in this, which I know it's like maybe it's sacrilegious to say, "Oh, make a cocktail with bourbon," but
no,
I'm here for it, man.
Right.
I want all of it.
It's fun times. Yeah, we were drinking the Jimmy Redcorn version earlier today, Craig, but when he got here earlier before we went to dinner.
That was good. Yeah.
So yeah, he thoroughly. We had some fun with some funky ryes and bourbons earlier. Good fun times. Sorry, Violet has a cough, so she's coughing in the background.
Could make a hot toddy.
That's right. She would enjoy it too. She does like the way it smells.
Happy to share it with you, man. Good stuff.
Very good.
All right. Ready for something new?
I am ready for something new. All right.
So you saw the Total Eclipse Moonshine.
Yes.
Well, you would be one of the very first Texans to see our brand new Total Eclipse.
Oh,
cool. 4-grain bourbon.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool looking. What a cool label. Oh, I like that. That's awesome looking. Very cool. So 100 proof, okay.
Yeah, 100 proof, cool. Just like the Shine. And you'll see on the left wing, you'll see the mash bill, which is this is what we're going to start doing when all the labels.
Okay.
We'll put the mash bills on them. We're going to put barrel information on them. We're going to put some tasting notes on them as well.
This is how all distilleries should do it because this is called being transparent. Imagine that concept, people. I like it. That's cool. All right.
So one of the very first Texans to try. Total
I'm
Eclipse
super
Bourbon.
excited for this. Always love trying new products.
So this particular mash bill is a 70-10-10-5.
Okay.
So obviously 70 corn, 10% wheat, 10% rye,
Okay.
and the 5% on the malted barley.
Very nice.
So aiming for something that's really balanced, really easy to sip, and it has a little character to it. So I don't know about you, but when I smell this, like it is such a caramel bomb. It's ridiculous.
That's totally different too.
Yeah.
So you get 4 different mash bills. That's awesome.
Why not? You know?
Oh, absolutely. I'm all for it. And you think, hey, as long as it tastes good, that's all that matters. That is cool. Oh, what is that? There's it's like this spearmint vegetal note. Almost toothpaste. But not quite. It's like a seaweed wrap. That's really cool. That's a unique nose.
You said you like weird stuff.
I do. I love it. I think that smells great. Yeah, it's like the sushi wrap. That's what it reminds me of. Like before you wrap, like the actual paper, you make your own sushi. It's the actual paper seaweed wrap. That's when it's dry. Yeah, we went to this Japanese lunch. My wife went to this Japanese luncheon, and so we went to this guy. I guess he was in the Navy, and he married a Japanese lady. And she made everything from scratch from us, a traditional Japanese lunch, and it was phenomenal.
Oh, I bet that was incredible.
Oh, and then he had all these rare Japanese whiskeys he paired with. Oh, dude, it was fabulous. It was a great time. Hey, Whiskey Knows, good to see you there, Marty. Check out Marty's channel. Oh, that smells great. Oh, there is a rye coming up, Craig. There will be a rye. It's all good. Oh, yeah. That's cool.
It works, right?
It does work. I've never had a bourbon that tastes like that.
Yeah.
Nice and minty.
Again, it's an interesting concept of doing equal parts wheat and rye. Like getting the wheat to give it texture, to tone the rye spice down a bit, right?
Oh, you know what? It's got like this oolong tea, like a little bit of smokiness to it too. Oh, that's awesome. I like that. That's really good. Quite nice.
All right. So that's Total Eclipse Bourbon. Glad to share it with you.
That's really good. Yeah. Thank you. That was awesome. Wow. All
right. We could go straight to the rye. Somebody's asking.
You can do the rye. You can do the other bourbon. Either way. Works. Whatever's for you.
I think we're going to do the rye.
All right. We'll do the rye. Yeah. Craig asked for rye. We'll give you the rye.
Give the man what he wants.
Oh, yeah, Eric, that meal was incredible. Speaking of, we had an incredible meal this evening.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys are down there at Mila's Kitchen, that's good stuff.
So I think we should share the bad news about the rye first.
Okay.
Bad news is it is full on allocated now.
Oh, boo.
I can't sell it outside sales anymore. I just don't have much of it left.
Yeah, I get it. All right, so 103. 3.7.
So, one of the problems when you make a new mash bill is, particularly when your shoestring budgets, like you just don't know how it's going to turn out.
Right.
And so we started with 8 barrels of this, and I am down to 2.
2? Alrighty then. Well. Yeah, and unfortunately, you can't beat time. You'll have more, but it'll be a few years.
It will be time, yeah.
Oh, that smells really
I
good.
love this rye, man.
All right, you got to tell them the mash bills because this tickles me pink.
So this is a 95.5 rye.
But it's Kentucky.
It's Kentucky rye.
It's not from Indiana.
Not from Indiana.
Which tastes nothing like that at all. Which I really greatly appreciate because I'm not a huge fan of it was kind of boring, that one. This is really unique and interesting.
Oh, man. So these barrels also just had their 4-year birthday, same as the wheat. So happy birthday, rye barrels, all 2 of you.
Yeah, all 2 of you that are left. Yeah, you poured out your siblings.
About 2 to their left are sitting there in the rick house shaking. Ah, what's going on?
They're like, we're all alone. It's dark in here. That's good. And I like it that it's not spicy at all, which I like. That's what I started with. I like this, that it's a very different. This is also a good, I think, intro to rye. And then it doesn't drink at 103 at all, which is scary. But yeah, it's super nice and it's very pleasant.
So I was doing a tasting with this not too long ago, and a young lady was tasting. I think she finally nailed the sweet in it. So like this is really complex to me. It's got a lot going on flavor wise.
Absolutely.
It starts out sweet, which I think now finally have the words to describe. She said root beer. And I thought, well, sarsaparilla, yes. I definitely can see that. It's that like herbal sweetness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more like birch beer.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's sweet, but it's not. It's not like a candy sweet. It's
that slightly bitter sweet at the same time.
Yeah.
That's just really freaking. There's like a lot of peppermint to it. Like it's got a little bit of chocolate. It's kind of like a York peppermint patty. It's really freaking delicious.
I love. So for me, the sweetness goes into this like almost green tea medicinal flavor in the mid, and then it starts like the top of the palate's like this light leather.
Yep.
And then it just starts to kiss absinthe, like that licorice just starts to get in there.
Yeah.
And then it's like eucalyptus spice again.
Yeah.
Ah,
that is unique. Yeah.
Right.
It's just it's just so good. Yeah. So the fact that it's a Kentucky 955 just still makes me really happy. And it's just really good. It's really nice to see really good, unique, different ryes. Yeah. That's real rye, not like a 51% rye. It's rye. That's coming out of Kentucky. So.
Well, and we were talking about this earlier. I mean, rye is just such a cool grain. I mean,
you
do so much with it. And like the temperature you cook it at, obviously the yeast you use obviously makes a big impact as well. But you can get so many different flavors, richer, more savory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweeter. It's just all in how you deal with it. Yeah.
Delicious stuff.
So I think we'll finish off with probably my most popular bourbon.
All right. Hey, Bourbon of the Week. Good to see you. Check out the channel as well. But yeah, we never got to the Henry Ford part either.
Yeah. So
we got to talk about that. It's
Henry Ford story.
Cool.
Yeah. So Casey's this savant engineer, couldn't read or write. He's making these stills. Same time, he's taking these inline Ford engines and he's splitting them in half. He's taking these inline 4 engines from Ford trucks, splitting them in half, and putting them on these rafts that they're running shine up and down the rivers with. It's just crazy, right? So Henry Ford hears about this guy that's chopping up his engines and putting them on river rafts. What the hell's going on, right?
That's normal, yeah.
So he ends up sending a guy down to the Land Between the Lakes area to try to get Casey to see if he would actually work for Henry Ford. Of course, Casey thinks that it's a revenuer trying to catch him and imprison him again, which rightfully so.
Yeah.
And so he lays low and keeps away from this guy. He's trying to find him from Ford's camp. Well, the guy ends up finally hooking up with him and tries to hire Casey, which, again, he couldn't read or write, so it didn't go anywhere. But pretty little interesting tie-in with Henry Ford and Casey Jones.
Plus, it fits in the back of a truck, too, which is very convenient. And you got to go. So, not a bad deal. So, we are sipping on the Casey Jones. This is what, Mash Bill 2?
Yeah, this is Mash Bill 2. This is our black label, Kentucky Straight Bourbon. It's hard to appreciate, I think, on the camera. But, Jason, you're sitting here looking at this thing.
Yeah.
How dark is that?
It's pretty good and dark there. It's pretty good, nice color to it, that's for sure. It's 112 proof, which I do appreciate greatly. I like that proof point. All the proof points are nice, but 112 is very nice.
So yeah, Matt, we're pretty excited about this one. Obviously, it's one of our most popular bourbons, and the mash bill is 80% corn, 16 rye, 4% malted barley.
Okay.
And so, whereas with mash bill 1, the white label, we're trying to make that sweet, summertime bourbon. Flipped the script on this guy and said, all right, what if we made a full-bodied, connoisseurs, if you like traditional bourbon flavors, this is your
This will do it.
Yeah.
It'll also warm you up nicely. It's the winter version.
Yeah, the winter one.
But yeah. Oh, Eric, there'll be more rye. It's just you can't beat time, so it has to go into the barrel. It's one of those things that it's a beautiful experiment, but when they find out it's really good, it's okay, we'll make more, but it's going to be 4 years.
Yeah, it's a great question, Eric. I mean, the thing is when you're first going down this path, it's not like you really know what White Dog is going to actually turn out in the wood. And so
that's true.
We don't have a lot of resources to just put up a bunch of barrels with different mash bills, different cooking processes, etc. And I think we really hit a gem with this. And so it's like all hands on deck to make more of it as quickly as possible, but it's just going to take time.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. Hey, Don, good to see you there. Hopefully you're home if you're or you're on the way home to your place, all that good fun stuff. Now, I assume do not have just in Canada yet, though?
I do, actually.
You do? Oh,
I do,
it's in Canada, guys.
Yeah.
Even better, we have a lot of actual followers in Canada, so that's good to know.
Yeah, I'm actually headed up to Alberta.
Okay.
Second week of May.
Nice.
And British Columbia as well.
Okay.
So I've got 2 distributors up there.
Okay.
In those 2 provinces.
Will it go to Ontario at some point? I know the problem is the LCBO is not our friend.
I have an email from an agent in Ontario right now who I have not had a chance to respond to yet. I've been working with him in the past to try to get in front of the LCBO.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah, maybe sooner rather than later.
Alberta and British Columbia is a start, and if you have friends there, they can always help you out. That's the way you solve that problem. Friends in other provinces. Well, nice, Peter B. Hopefully they'll get to your area soon. Peter, I'm not sure what state you're in, but you let us know. We can help you out with that. Drinking some Russell's 10. Good choice. Eric, is there a single malt in the future?
Great question. So I was just at a portfolio event in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And there's a Colorado-based distillery that was at a booth next to me, and a proper Scotsman owns that distillery.
Ah.
So we were talking at length, and he has single malts.
Okay.
That he's been distilling at his distillery in Colorado. And I was talking to him about, what's the process?
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, because I do see people looking for American single malts.
Absolutely.
More often than not. And he said, he said, you need a still with a traditional line arm to make a good single malt. You want the whiskey to be heavy.
Right.
Lucky for us.
You have one.
I have one.
So, problem solved.
Yeah, our workhorse still is a 1,000-gallon pot still from Specific Mechanical that we just installed literally a month ago. I mean, literally a month ago. And it does have a traditional line arm off of it. And our column doesn't sit on the onion. It's adjacent to the still. And then the condenser is adjacent to that. Mm-hmm. And so if we want to, we can bypass the column and just run from the pot to the condenser and do a stripping run.
Yeah.
So if we want those heavier alcohols, we can definitely do that.
Nice. We're looking forward to that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That sounds like fun.
We're in it from the long haul. I mean, I think we had this conversation last time I was here, but it's 3 of us. It's all grassroots. We're trying to build this the way that the old distilleries were built. It's like we're trying to do it the right way, the slow way. There's no gimmicks. I just told you this afternoon, like on my LinkedIn profile, I posted this the other day after going to a whiskey tasting event where I saw a lot of other companies and the investments that they were making, and I walked away from that, and I said, I'm only ever going to invest in spirits and spirits. Like, I want my juice to be as good as I possibly can afford to make it, and I want my people to be as good as I can possibly afford to hire them. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. So, okay, you're in Connecticut as well. So, yeah. So, you can get it through the website. You can get it to there up to Connecticut. But if you're close to New York and you can go into there, then that also works perfect. You can grab some on your way and not even deal with shipping. But, yeah, it's very nice. What other fun things would you like to talk about from the distillery? Or other fun stories do we have about Casey Jones?
I love being an open book. I mean,
absolutely,
it's a great chance to interface with somebody from the industry. I mean, you guys ask away. Like, I love chatting about stuff.
He knows all the nerdy questions, so we know you guys love nerdy questions, since that's what this channel is built on. So ask all the nerdy stuff you guys want to know, and he will answer them.
Anything I possibly can. Absolutely.
So if he doesn't know, we'll get back to you and get it from the distiller. So that way you have an actual answer. Unlike I don't know, which we don't have reps like that on this show. We don't know. We don't get the I don't know and I don't have anyone to ask problem. That's not a problem here. Okay, so we've had the whole lineup at this point, Donald. So we've had 3 different moonshines, and I guess 4 bourbons, and a rye.
Yeah.
So lots of good and fun stuff. Things you would actually enjoy that are unique and different. And then they said they're mostly going to work on a single malt. So that's good for us.
Now, obviously, I brought you mostly everything that we distribute. But the focus in most markets is going to be like the Total Eclipse Moonshine, the Double Barrel Cut, the Black Label, which we're drinking right now, and the Wheat. Yeah.
That's valid, Eric. That when you think of Casey Jones, you think of Dumbledore, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was a really great character in Ninja Turtles. Not getting wrong.
It's the anti-hero.
He's a cool dude. Everybody wanted to be Casey Jones when they were a kid because that's way better than being a Ninja Turtle. So
Yeah.
So it was very entertaining. I mean, there's a guy in a hockey mask. What's scarier than that? And you already had Jason Voorhees as it was.
So most people get the. So from the older crowd, I'll get the train engineer.
Yeah, I figured. The train one. That's what I figured too.
Every once in a while, somebody said a baseball player.
Okay. Yeah. There's the old cartoon of that. Yeah. Sure.
And then of course the younger folks are typically like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Sure.
And then there's this interesting Venn diagram where somebody knows all of them. It's a small part. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. 60 Hertz says, cheers, watch from the garage. Is selling a single malt right now, deep into the heart. Very nice, 60 Hertz. He's, I believe, in New Zealand, where it's legal to do such things. I assume you're not in New Zealand yet.
No, I am not.
So Don wants to know, are they using any hybrid rye varietals at all? Well, yeah, what kind of rye are you? I guess we didn't talk about what kind of rye you guys are using. Yeah,
so tempting. So what I will say about this particular rye, standard rye mash bill, standard rye that we use for it. The key that we have found with this particular rye grain is in the cook.
Okay.
So you can cook rye for a short amount of time, which is typically what you see in your bourbon mash bills. Is that it's funny? It's actually like an accounting issue. Now, that sounds nuts, but it really is.
No, it's like money. Yeah, it makes sense.
That cooker takes money to run, right?
Sure.
And so, what most bourbons you'll see rye used for in most bourbons, standard American rye mash. It's like it's to provide the rye characteristic that you think of rye. It's the angry grain, to give you spice and body. So if you want more nuanced, sweeter, medicinal, herbal flavors out of it, there are rye varietals that you can use for that. We actually tasted one earlier today. That
the Osbazur or
the Osbazur,
yeah.
Those varietals do have that flavor in it innately, but you can also get some of those characteristics, I will say, by almost the same way you get good barbecue. Low and slow. Yeah.
So it's like an Elbon rye, something like that, or
yeah. I actually can pull up the invoice.
He's going to tell us what kind of rye it is right now, so that way we know. And while you're doing that, so Independent Joe wants to know is what are the highest ages of whiskey you currently have, and that's currently in stores, and what future agency can you expect from Casey Jones?
Okay, that is a great question, and I'm going to answer it while I'm looking this up. So hopefully I'm not being rude here, but everything that we have made up to this point that is not in a bottle is in a barrel. Okay.
Okay.
We don't have an age statement per se that we're releasing at.
Okay, it's two tastes.
At all.
So,
Correct. Okay. Yes. So anything that we don't sell in the gift shop or outside sales, it's just getting older.
Sure.
Right? Right now we have, I think, some 5-year-old barrel cut.
Nice.
We've got obviously 4-year-old wheat.
Okay.
The rye barrels are 4 years old. Some of my black label bourbon, which I don't think we unpacked this, but this is, I said, a 96.31, right?
Right.
Single barrel versions of this are actually 75.21.4.
Okay.
To make the small batch version, I'll take the 75.21.4 and the 96.31, and I'll batch them to make the 80.16.4.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
The 75.21.4 is really, it's much spicier. It's 21 rye. It's way hotter, right?
Sense, yeah.
And then this 96.31 is all of the sweet tones.
Okay.
So to make the 80.16, it's a mix between those two to try to give you the balance of both worlds. I'll have to find this.
Don says he's becoming a favorite. Brasetto is one of his favorite that has been used in distilling. Yeah, that is another good one. I agree.
Here we go.
Yes, we do enjoy, like I said, the super nerdy stuff. That's what we like to find out about. Always a good time to see those things here. Well, he's looking that up.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I know we've got coming up. I know some people have asked for the pineapple spirit drink from Buchanan's. I know that'll be one of the reviews later this week for you guys.
What is this?
So Buchanan's is really famous, pretty prevalent in Latin America.
Yeah.
And then mixed with pineapple juice. It's a very famous, common cocktail. So Buchanan's in the last couple of months decided, let's just make it with pineapple in it. So yeah, there's a Buchanan's pineapple now.
What?
And it's actually pretty good. It is super pineapple.
Oh, I would have.
It's like crazy pineapple, but it's funny. So in America, when we have flavored whiskeys, well, in Scotland they don't. They call it spirit drink.
Okay.
So that's what they call it. It's a Scottish spirit drink. I was like, well, that's interesting. So that's some fun stuff that's coming out for this week. We're going to have the Lithuanian gin, the dry gin. Actually, I hadn't tried it. It was pretty good stuff. That dry gin that JD Bourbon Approach sent us. So that'll be coming out. And I think the other whiskey we're having this week is probably, let's see, what else we record recently. Oh, did it begin?
I don't even think it's going to show up on my...
Not on the invoice? Oh, okay.
On the mobile version.
Oh, that's a good question there.
What's the question?
Okay, that's funny. Independent Joe's, hey there, Eric. Good to see you. Yes, smoky pineapples, exactly. So, see, Donald also says, how would the rye's flavor profile compare with the typical 100% Canadian rye that he's used to? That's a good question.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your Canadian rye is much spicier than this. I would say this is probably more complex, though, within a Canadian rye. There's a lot more going on, I think, unless you're drinking like Alberta Premium, the high-end one. But other than that, yeah, it's much more complex than most Canadian ryes, but I think you'd really like it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. No, sorry, I missed. Oh, that's a good question. What are the price points on? Surprisingly, very good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that because I know people are always interested in how much does it cost. Like, it sounds great, but how much is it?
So we'll start from the Moonshine.
Okay.
And I think typically you'll see that on the shelf for $25 to $27.
So very fair.
And then from there, we'll go to the single barrel cut, which you don't see this very often, but that's going to be probably around $29.99 on the shelf.
Super reasonable.
And then we can go to the white label and the double barrel cut.
Okay.
So our first bourbon and our double barrel cut, you're typically going to see those between $34.99 and $39.99.
Oh, that's not bad either.
Yeah. And then from there, we'll talk about Black Label Bourbon,
Okay.
Mash Bill 2, and then Mash Bill 3, the wheat. You'll typically see those $44.99 to $49.99.
Okay.
The single barrel rye, if you can find it, $59.99 to $64.99.
Still not sad. All of those are extremely reasonable.
And this is not for sale yet.
This one, we don't know. It's a surprise.
But it'll probably be in that $39.99 range.
Yeah. So as the great thing is, here you have a brand new distillery coming out, and the prices are reasonable. You're not getting there's some you want to support them, but sometimes they're all not exactly what you're paying for. And these, I think, are worth every penny. This, I think they could sell it for more, but they want to get in as many markets as possible, which I think is really smart, because that way you can get everybody can afford this stuff, and you can try and go, oh, this is really good, and it can become your everyday drinker.
Well, that means we're trying to,
which is perfect,
price it to be everybody's daily.
That's
what
which
we
is
want.
great.
If I can grow the sales volume, I am operating on razor thin margins. It's 10 points.
Wow.
But if I can grow the volume to sustain it, I'll be fine.
Right.
I can live with that.
Yeah, for sure. I love it there. Jason says that Matt insists on balancing the force. For every Dare Gaelic he drinks, there's a waffle cone liqueur he even thinks about. You're not wrong. I'm sure we'll find a waffle cone liqueur at some point in time. Wouldn't surprise me. So you just never know. Something good like that will come out. So
tomorrow, when I get on the laptop, I'm going to pull an invoice. I'm going to give you the exact rye that we're using.
Perfect. And I will post that for you guys into Discord and onto Patreon for you guys so you can see that. So if you guys have other questions, send them to me on either Discord or Patreon, whatever's easiest for you guys. But yeah, check all that fun stuff out. Of course, all the pictures are on there on Patreon, all the good stuff. We like to tell you guys ahead of time what's coming. So if you join the Patreon, you know what's going to be on the show. If not, well, it's a surprise. So that's the best thing to know. Any other fun questions we have here for you guys for him? Well, thank you very much, there, Independent Joe. We appreciate that too. I know I enjoyed all of these. There's not a bad one. And you guys know, I'm super selective who comes on our show. We only have good shit on this show. Do not bring garbage on or people that don't know what the hell they're doing. So you can rest assured that it is good stuff because I say that it is. Because it actually is. So the other good news is, so once the place is open, we're going to have Cody come back and actually present to you guys in person. So you guys come check it out and try everything. And one of the first people will actually host there at the castle. So it should be a good fun time.
I'd be honored, man. I really would.
So we like to do that, like support, new and upcoming things. Like I said, love transparency, love the story. It's all true. It's not actual bullshit like so many of them are. So there's someone that's like, oh, I found this in my grandfather's attic. I'm like,
sure.
Oh, well, you actually didn't. Oh, I thought this shit from MGP. Oh, okay. So that's the usual story you get. Well, I really didn't do any of those things, but it sounded good. So no, this actually okay. So Eric wants to help your margins who could once a year release something special. It could be a full proof or something you don't make much and charge $60-$80 for it. Yeah,
it's actually you'd asked about what barrels that I have and what's the oldest that I have. So like I said, I do actually have some 4-year-old 75-21-4. And all of the labels that we have here today, aside of the Total Eclipse ones, these are getting redone to have, the mash bills, the barrel information, et cetera, on them. And I'm coming up with single barrel versions of all of these labels.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be a single barrel white label mash bill. There'll be a single barrel wheat mash bill. There'll be a single barrel black label mash bill. And so you'll know straight up looking at it where it's a small batch now. Yeah. It's going to be single barrel real prominent on the label.
Yeah.
And I think what we're going to do, to your point, Eric, I think we're going to actually do some allocated single barrel releases here and there in some of our key markets. And I think it will help quite a bit on the margin. So yeah, it's a good point.
You said there's a Liquor King. You said you have a single barrel.
Yeah, Liquor King and DFW. They did a barrel pick with us, and they literally just got it in Monday.
No, okay. So if you guys are local, check that out, Liquor King.
Yeah, I think their Instagram's Liquor King DFW.
Okay, perfect. So if anybody's local, and go grab that. I know that, or if you watch this tomorrow and you want to know about it, go grab one over there. And what stores are you around here in Texas? That's not so we got
so many.
So that's another good thing. So we got a lot of tech. Obviously, so we're here. We also got a lot of people that follow that are here.
Yeah. So if I pull up the map, off the top of my head, I can tell you all of the Total wines.
Okay.
Which I think Total mostly picked up the wheat. So if you're looking for the wheat, they've got that.
Okay.
Obviously, Liquor King, we talked about
Okay.
all the Liquor Kings.
Okay.
I think they have. If you want some of the rye, I know he has some. Me here bought some of the rye.
Ooh, okay, so that's important. So.
And he's not getting any more. So
yeah, so if you want a rye, go pick it up as soon as possible because it may not be there very long.
And then Specs, Twins, and Seagulls also picked up the product, and I think they have the double barrel, white label, wheat, and black label.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So if you're local, there's lots of places around you guys should be close to pick up from one of those stores, certainly. So. That's the good news on that. Any other questions you guys have at all? Otherwise, we will sit here and try some other fun stuff. Because that's what we're good at. So, it was good times.
Oh, yeah. So recharge on that H2O as well, yeah.
Water is definitely a good choice. Okay, so let's see. Donald would like to know, I'm very curious about the rye. Is it fascinating to see the difference between the mash bills and types of rye, etc.? Okay. We will definitely get that for you, Donald.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, that'll be good. But yeah, hopefully, like we said, since it's going to be in Alberta and British Columbia, you can get a bottle of that. So that'll be great.
Yeah, rye's. Eric, Kelvin Cooperage. We use Kelvin Cooperage exclusively. I have since day one. It's actually, if you're getting into the distillery business, it's one of the bottlenecks now. Is that if you don't have a cooperage, you don't have a distillery. I mean, yeah.
Valid. They're all really good, Independent Joe. Favorite? I really like that rye because it's unique, different rye. I also like that new bourbon. That's really cool. And of course, the double moonshine. I mean, that's just fantastic stuff. But they're all really good. I like all of them. They're all unique and different. And I don't know many. This was 4 bourbon mash bills.
Yeah.
There's some that have 1 or 2, and we can think of plenty of those, but 4 very different mash bills at that. And unique. I like using the Bloody Butcher. I think that's just cool and just unique. If you're looking for unique and special and at a very reasonable price, I mean, this is hella stuff to pick up and try your friends. I've tried this on at least 25 people, and everybody's been like, if on the one they really, really like, to I like all of them. So it's been really fun trying people on them that are willing to give it a whirl. It's like, I brought this new stuff to a tasting. They're like, these are all pretty good. It's like, I told you, I don't bring crap to tastings. So everyone's like, if you bring, okay, fine, it'll be good. So, it's been good fun time.
So let's flip the script a little bit. Proof points for single barrels. What do you guys like?
I mean, I like as high as possible because, that's the kind of person I am. Pretty sure most of them do. But then again, sometimes it's also high is not the answer either.
Yeah.
It's what's the best flavor you can get out of it for me. Eric wants to know, any thoughts on blue corn?
So blue corn is very intriguing. There's another distillery in I think he's based in Kentucky. No, Woodhead.
Oh yeah, Woodhead has a blue.
Yeah. That guy is the
wild man.
Yeah, he's the PhD of corn.
Yeah. Of course, obviously, Belcon is just huge blue corn, obviously too. So, but yeah, fun stuff. But yeah, what's your choice on single barrel proof wise?
Yeah, no, it's interesting the way you articulated that. I kind of feel the same way. I mean, obviously, whenever we harvest a barrel for a barrel pig, you don't know what proof it is.
Right.
You just don't. I mean, if the barrel is sitting at the top of the rick house, it will lose more water than it will alcohol because of the temperature. And so you'll get higher proof out of that barrel versus if it's at the bottom of the rick house where it's cooler, you'll lose more alcohol than water. Both of them can have really unique flavors.
Right. Yeah, and it's just whatever it comes out as, it's barrel proof. And whether that barrel proof ends up being 127 or it could also be 114 or hell 104. I've seen those too. It just depends on where it is. And we all know every barrel can be next to each other and be completely different.
We did a pick in British Columbia at 124 proof is what it ended up being.
Oh, nice.
And it didn't drink like a 124 at all. At all.
A lot of these don't drink anywhere near as warm as they are. So there's one thing to be aware of is these are dangerous in that sense that they drink way lower than you think they are, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Good for you.
Doesn't pair well with yard work at all.
Yeah. So he says that drink it after the yard work is done. You're in good shape. Yeah, I agree. Making the single barrel proof only makes sense. That is kind of the point. There's nothing more disappointing than taking a beautiful bottle and then ruined it, as we've known some distilleries have done. It's like, oh, I had this great single barrel, then I ruined it by adding water rapidly to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. What is the barrel entry proof?
It varies.
Oh, it varies.
Yeah,
Okay.
it varies.
Okay.
So the Black Label 7521 4s, those are up at 120.
Okay.
And all those are up at 120. The White Label 9631s, we'll put some of those up at 110. We've done some up at 115.
Okay.
And there's a lot of science.
Yeah, the lower
a lot of science too.
Better. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Well, it's that the closer to the proof you actually want to bottle it at, the better.
Okay.
Right.
That makes sense. Less water in it.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Because what happens is the moment that you introduce RO to that spirit after you've dumped, into your tank, the bottle, that water did not go through the aging process at all. Right. It is fundamentally not the same as the liquid that was in the barrel.
That's true.
And so you're going to alter the flavor, obviously, in some way by adding it, which I think you were expressing when there's nothing worse than getting a single barrel and they've added a bunch of water to it to proof it down. Ruined, it's like, well, where did all the flavor go? That's where it went.
Hey, Richie.
Yeah.
That's a problem. It's like, so when so you've had the ones that you put in at 110 and 115. Have you found a big difference when they've come out from the 110 to 115, or has it been closer together than you expect them to be?
I would say, like when we first started, it's a great question. We first started with our bourbon releases. Everything we did was as its own batch.
Oh, okay.
And you would go to the store and you might pick up Casey Jones Kentucky Straight White Label. And one day you might find a 114 proof. And then the next day you might find a 102 proof. Okay. And so what was happening when I first joined as, the distillery was a client of mine at first, everything was done in that manner. But having come on as a partner, I've influenced the output of the spirits that, for our small batch stuff, I want all of this at 90 proof.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Batch it up, cut it down, call it a day.
Makes sense.
Because it works well for that particular mash bill.
Right.
And so what I would say is before, what you were basically getting, everything was single barrel. Yeah. That's basically what it was. And it did make a big difference then.
Oh, yeah, it's a vastly different. Because you're looking for a standard product rather than single barrels are fun, but if it's not what you're looking for,
correct.
Oh, I really love this one, and then you can't find it. That sucks.
Yeah, right. So there are virtues and vices to it.
Right.
But the other thing that I would say is all those barrels were, again, they were much younger. They were all 1-year-old, 2-year-old barrels at tops, and so they were still kind of coming into themselves. Yeah. And they are still to a large degree. I mean,
have a lot of time to go.
I mean, you are you kidding me? Tell me when that's 4 years. That's not going to be different.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Wildly different. And so I would say that the entry proof difference didn't matter as much before. It's mattering more and more now.
Because you've been in longer,
Yeah.
So what's the goal? What's the end goal for us to get as long as possible, just to see what happens? Or
let's say that we grow to a point where I don't have enough barrels in reserve to hold back anything, that I have to release stuff at a 4-year age statement. Okay. Then so be it.
Yeah,
I'll have a 4-year product, and that's
right. That's fine. If it's really good, it's really good, and that's all that matters.
If we don't get that growth until all of the barrels are 5 years old, then that's going to be our minimum age statement.
Okay, that makes sense.
So be it.
Yeah. No one's going to be sad about that.
No, right. It's like it's not a bad approach, as it turns out.
No, it's not bad at all. Yeah, like I said, it's already good at this age. It's only going to get better.
Yeah.
better and different. Like I said, it'll add most likely add more flavors to it. Just we'll have to see. I'm very interested to see what happens in a year or two and see how they change.
The wheat's a really good example of that. Like I said, when we first launched all those barrels were 3 years old, and the honey note was distinct, but the tea note was more of a black herbal tea. And now that they're 4 years, it's honey, but it's like Louisiana sweet tea.
Which is very interesting. Let's see. Donna wants to know, is there another distiller whose work you admire?
So many. I mean, seriously, so many. Talked about Jeff the Creed earlier.
Yeah.
I think they're just great, salt of the earth folks. MB Roland is a local distillery in Pembroke, Kentucky, close to us.
Okay.
Nothing but love for them. I think one of the cool things about this industry, Donald, is, and I know it sounds cliche, but there's genuinely good actors in it, if that makes sense. And, everybody's just trying to do the best they can is just the impression that I get, So we're in good company. Yeah.
It's a big plus. Yeah, Richie. So you can go pick up what you find there in California. So that's good. So you will be very happy with what you pick up. So let us know what you pick up, Richie. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it. Being new, like I said, very different than what you've had before, but it's another new thing to add to your collection and something you'll really enjoy. I like that it's different. I think we all get tired of just drinking the same thing over and over and over. I mean, it's good to have that, but at the same time, it's like, well, let's do something different. And they do it all different and all good. Because there's lots of things you've had like, oh, it sounds like a great story, but not great. Whereas this case, the story's really good and the whiskey's all really good. So it helps a lot when the story and the whiskey's good. So see, Emerald is good stuff. I've definitely liked. There was the deep fried whiskey there.
Dark
fried. That's right. Dark.
So
fried.
That's Paul and Mary Beth are the owners of MB Roland, and they're neighbors to us. Like we think the world of them. So
just how far away are they from you guys?
15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So they're really, really close. Okay.
Yeah.
So what part of Kentucky is where you guys are at? So if you wanted to come visit you.
Yeah, everybody probably has a frame of reference as far as like where Nashville, Tennessee is.
Okay.
Yeah. Biggest metro close to us.
Okay. So down there.
We are about an hour and 15 minutes northwest of Nashville, right over the state line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very different part of the state than the other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the distilleries in Kentucky, the famous ones are obviously in that Golden Triangle, Bardstown, Lexington, Louisville area.
Right.
And we're kind of out island into ourselves. And
sure.
Trying to put Western Kentucky on the map, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's cool to see. It's interesting to see the terroir change too, from your traditional, like you said, area of Kentucky over here to going here and here. It's unique to these different things. On there, Jason says, there we go. Jason, he might see. Is there a bottle in Kansas at all? Maybe.
Kansas, no. I'm sorry. Oklahoma.
Okay, but the good news is, hopefully, that one is a state you can order.
I believe it is. I believe, through Spirit Hub.
Yeah, Spirit Hub should have that hopefully for you, Jason, so you can get a bottle. Hey, Z-Man, good to see you.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting. I think the approach, like I said, we're trying to do it old school. We're trying to do it grassroots. All about the authenticity. I think I told you about we're going to put tasting notes on the bottles to just try to make it
absolutely
more approachable for people who are bourbon curious.
Right. It's like surprises.
And then the price points. I mean, we talked about that a little bit, but I like to tell everybody we don't think it should be so hard to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Well, the taxman eventually got him.
Yeah.
He got out and then he made them a still.
Right.
I can't imagine there are any other moonshiners that said, please make us a still. Let's put it on display.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that they found all those years later is hysterical. Any other questions at all? Yeah, you're used to it. I'm sure you are, unfortunately, Jason. You are in Kansas. Good news is at least you have online ordering, so that should hopefully allow you to get a bottle and check it out and see what you think of it. So, but I think you guys will enjoy it. I would not, like I said, the price point's great on it, so you can't really go wrong. And no matter what, I'm sure it makes some killer cocktails based on some stuff he's had with it. So, like I said, it's fun to get moonshine too. That's really, really good.
Oh man, I'm telling you, if we had some margarita mix, it makes just a phenomenal.
I have some margarita mix, but it's probably questionable in the age. It's like it's still green.
That's something you don't want an age statement on.
No, it's like I know we have some margaritas. I was like, it's brown. I'm like, I don't think we should drink that. It's like it sat under the cabinet, and then we brought it to a party. Like, we should probably throw that away. I was like, smells like margarita mix.
Yeah.
Don't know what it tastes like. Don't really care.
Don't want to find out.
It's like at that point, then I've also got the green margarita. We should use the green one. The green one's the safe one. So, let's go with that.
Yeah, so I think we're
there you go.
We're in Arizona, California, obviously Texas, Oklahoma. We just launched in Georgia. We're in Tennessee, obviously Kentucky, New York, New Jersey, and Wisconsin. I'm working on Illinois right now.
Okay. So that's another good state. So Richie Z wants to know, what makes Casey Jones a purchase in a sea of bottles? There's a lot of good whiskey.
It's a great question. I mean,
is.
Obviously, we're in a good spot, price point, and quality. There's also a really cool opportunity to grow with this brand. Like I was saying earlier, everything that we don't bottle is just going to get over.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're going to get a chance to really experience that maturation with each bottle. The meta answer to your question, I mean, you could ask that really of almost anything that's out there. Like,
true.
What does compel you to purchase one product over the other? I think one thing that we're trying to do on that front is the transparency. There's a lot of don't get in too much trouble for saying this. A lot of distilled in Indiana stuff. We'll just say that.
Well, yeah, and I'm tired of a lot of times I'm like, no, I'm good. I've already had that. Even though it's a different label, it's like it's the same crap.
Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Is like, look,
I don't
you can put as many different labels as you want.
It's the same thing, no matter what.
That doesn't mean there's not good barrels out there.
Right.
They really are. They're fantastic, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So give it a try, Richie Z. Like to pick one up for sure. Well, that's true. No, cannot be worse than the putrid Irish cream. You learned. I had this bottle of Irish cream. Well, the problem was we were at this Christmas and we do a whiskey or liqueur exchange. Well, somebody purchased one of those damn like Omaras. That's not really a liqueur. It's like 13%. Well, it turned to this chunky mush.
Oh God!
I was like, we can't review this, guys. Like, so I poured it down the sink and made a video going down the sink. It's disgusting. Oh. That's true. It can't be worse than that. That's a valid point. Can you imagine margarita mix with chunks? No, it cannot. It's floaties though, so we got that going for you.
Yeah.
So give that a try. Okay, so Eric wants to know what plans to be in the flagship lineup for you guys? That's always be available.
So flagship and always are not going to be compatible for our stuff.
Okay.
It's a great question. To unpack what I mean by that is like we're going to do a Master Distillers Special Barrel Reserve program, and I'm working on the artwork for this. I've identified 2 barrels that fit this particular program, but it's going to be flagship stuff in that these are barrels that are literally too good to batch.
Okay.
Right. So we're going to do a release on that, and it'll be limited release stuff. As far as stuff that's always available, again, going back to that, and I've said it before, but whatever we don't actually bottle, that's going to be the stuff that's always available. I mean, it's going to be these mash bills that we've unpacked. We're going to always have these mash bills. It's just this time next year, all these bottles will be 3 years old, and all the Black Label bottles will be 4 years old, and all of the wheat bottles will be 5 years old. So that's just going to be our core mix of what we've got.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope that answers the question.
Now, that's probably true that MGP is the second best macro bourbon distiller. That's, for a large, that's probably a very true statement, Jason. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah. I
just think some of us get tired of the same thing over and over and over. But yeah, variety is definitely the king. I would totally agree.
Well, and I think you were hitting on, we've had the same conversation.
Yeah.
Like, if you're open and transparent about what you've done with the barrels, have at it. You know?
Like I've had some really cool MGP people have taken to like Distillers Art. There's a cool one in Colorado. They take it to a hot box at 9,000 feet and age it in really cool barrels, and it's really good stuff. But then there's other stuff. It's like, well, I took it and I dumped it on, I slapped a label on, and I gave it. That's not fun.
Well, I think Barrel Bourbon and Bardstown have shown how you do that right.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's like, look,
for
this
sure.
is a fusion series.
Yeah,
it uses X, Y, and Z, and it's right there on the label. You know.
Yeah, Tom, that can be for some people, certainly. It can be confusing for some, but Breckenridge is a different story. Breckenridge is another sourced thing that they don't like to talk about, but they're sourced. But that's a different story, and theirs is okay for what it is. See, now I guess and Z-Man's out there in Arizona. He likes the variety you guys have of it, so perfect. So that's always a plus.
Fantastic.
I tried Connell 15. Oh, very nice. That's a good choice for cheesy. Absolutely. Let's see. It's basically our theme. I went 4 distilleries doing the majority was, and that's true, Donald. It's exactly the case in Ireland. At least that's the nice thing here. You know, in America, there's so many good craft that's out there that we can have a variety rather than 4 majors. Which it wasn't that long ago. That was basically the case here too. For as far as bourbon goes, there were 4 or 5 major distillers. That was it. Yeah, and they made everything from the bottom shelf garbage to the best. Yes, go ahead. Back
up to the comment about being careful about putting too many SKUs on the market. I think it's a really salient point. Yeah. Really, really salient point. And I think that I brought a bunch of stuff up here that you typically are not going to see on the shelf.
That's true.
It's at most it's going to be the double barrel cut, the black label, the white, and the wheat. I mean, these are probably what you're going to see most of the time. On occasion, it's going to be the total eclipse. Sure. It just depends on the market. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I've got even more at the distillery. I've got flavored moonshines and whatnot. So it's a good point though, for sure.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, as you guys know me, it's all the crazy stuff you got. Bring all of that stuff. Yeah. So he did. So,
Well, I'll tell you one of the things that are really cool though is like when I interface with store buyers. And you pull out 6 bottles and they taste through. And I cannot tell you how many times I've had a buyer at a store, which you got to think they have tried everything under the sun, right? And half of it. They've heard every pitch you could ever imagine. I can't tell you how many times after doing a tasting, the buyer will say, I was really worried when you pulled out 6 bottles.
Yeah, sure.
But all of this was good.
Yeah, that was the shocking thing for me because, like I said, I had no idea who he was when he called. I was like, sure, I'll try it, whatever. No, and then it's like, oh, this shit's really good. Awesome. We're going to be on the show. So, it's always nice to be pleasantly surprised and then really surprised when it's really good. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been fantastic. So, in your wheat, what variety are you using of wheat?
It's a Kentucky soft wheat.
Kentucky soft wheat. Okay.
And you'll see on our bottles, I don't know if you pull it up to the camera, but it's a Kentucky Proud symbol right there. So that means that almost anything that we can source from Kentucky, we will. Okay. Which does not include the cork tops because, as it turns out, those are from China.
Yeah. It is. Right.
And the sugar for our Total Eclipse Moonshine and therefore barrel cuts, sugar doesn't grow in Kentucky. So
no, I think not. I think they'll do very poorly there. Yeah. You can plant it, it just won't grow. Yeah. So good luck with that. When that winter comes, well, that's the end of that.
It's done.
Because where's that? You said Louisiana? You said that stuff come from?
Wherever, judge me, wherever Walmart gets it from.
Wherever Walmart gets it from. Okay.
We have a source in Louisiana that we'll probably have to start interfacing with because of the scale that we're going to be operating now.
Okay, that makes sense.
But in all honesty, I can get it significantly cheaper from my local Walmart. I know that sounds nuts.
That's hilarious.
They're literally selling it at a loss.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So is it just regular like white
pure
sugar that's just in a giant bag?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It works.
It works. It tastes really good. Yeah. I mean, you can't complain. I mean, the end result is fantastic.
The yeast love it. So.
Clearly on that. Yeah, I can't can't go wrong with that. That's for sure. All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're gonna because it's been an hour and a half. And we will do Will's birthday party will be next week, so he can't be sick next week. I guess it's Sarah that's sick, but she doesn't want Will to be out there climbing around with all these things, so he missed out. Good news is I have his sample stuff, so he'll get to try them all, but it's all good. Yeah, to have fun and buy or be surprised. Yeah, it's left Wally World. I think you're the first distiller I've ever said I buy stuff at Walmart.
Hey,
it's freaking hysterical.
Told you I'm going to be opening.
So, like you said, it works. I mean, you can't really complain. That's for sure. So,
but I think, like I said, we were doing these like 50-pound bags or 35-pound bags in the past on that 140-gallon square pot still. It's not going to scale with the new still. We'll have to get super sacks of it.
They'll be like, "Can I have all the sugar?"
We're already doing that.
Oh, you're already doing it.
We're buying them out of it now. So
they're like, "Just give me the last few pallets.
Yeah.
I'll need all of it."
Well, and they deliver to the distiller for free. So
do they really?
Yeah, there's no overhead cost to it whatsoever.
Shit! Yeah, what a steal of a deal. Yeah, you really can't complain about that.
Beet sugar, huh?
Huh? Interesting. Not know that. That's cool. It's good to know.
I've said that it beats me. I work with corn all day. What do you
want? That's good. All right, guys. This was fun. Excellent. We will see you guys next week, I said, for Will's birthday party. And check out tomorrow's fun thing. I think it'll be the pineapple Buchanan's for you guys for tomorrow. So we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Oh, Squishy, how... I'll buy the bourbon first. They were all really good, Richie. The rye is fantastic. The moonshines are fantastic. But he's going to buy the bourbon. So let us know what you think, Richie, of the bourbon. But like I said, we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Appreciate you.